Right here. All right, cool. Here we are. Okay, now we're gonna get into our main man, Mr. Chad Fisher. Oh, Chad, brace yourself. He's got to come in with some social commentary, is what we're calling it for the moment. But who knows what it might evolve to. But yes, brother Chad, come on over, man. Come on through. Oh, here he is. Oh.
What's up, boss?
All right, man. Chad, the floor is yours.
Thank you. We're gonna let him have it today. What's up? I'm Chad Fisher, doing a little bit of social commentary here today. I want to get into education and children today. This is what I want to talk about. Because there's been some things that's kind of been annoying me a little bit. You see everything that's going on with the educational system in this country, and you'd be a moron to say that this is actually working, that the education has blossomed under the government's leadership and everything like that. One thing that's hilarious to me is that you always see and hear the government say stuff like, you know, how many times does the President of the United States say that we live in like a great free country and everything like that? You know what I'm saying? It's almost, he always be saying that. President of the United States, oh, we live in a free country. I'm so glad we're free. You know, it's awesome that we're free. He says that every time after he finishes a speech or something like that. It's a free country. How's it a free country if you're forced to go to school? I don't understand that. They be having truancy officers come looking for you and stuff like that if you ain't in school. I saw this news story on the Austin news station a couple days ago, and it said that they had some police officers going out trying to find kids that's being truant and stuff like that. So what they'll do is catch them like, hey, you're supposed to be in school. So they'll write them a ticket and everything, okay? And then they asked the policeman, they said, what are you trying to accomplish with these laws and stuff? And he said, blatantly, this is what he said, and I quote, he said, well, hopefully, you know, after 3 tickets, they get a fine, a $45 fine. So they get this fine. He said, hopefully, you know, eventually their parents will get upset and they'll get pissed off because they got to pay $45 and then they'll just end up going to school. Hopefully it will cause the parents some grief. It's like, come on, man. You were sitting here already saying like flat out, like we want to cause you some grief. We want to fuck your life up and piss you off real good. And then maybe out of fear and anger, you'll start doing what we want you to do. We're not going to do it trying to be nice and, you know, try and love you or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? We're going to send you to school. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's not even get into how inadequate the school system is, you know, the stupefying low that has continued to progress itself since the government has taken it over in, what was it, the 70s, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, let's not even get into that, you know what I mean? And then, so let's talk about a little bit more about education. I don't know if you guys heard about this, like the Texas State Board of Education just passed this law where they're going to like totally reconfigure the educational system in Texas. What they're going to do is they're going to highlight the achievements of President Reagan, which, so about 3 pages of that, I guess. And then they're going to talk about Christian values and Christian beliefs and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So like rewriting the history books, they're like spending like a small portion of time on the Civil Rights Act and everything. You know what I'm saying? Just wiping it out of the history books. You know what I mean? No, and never at one time did they ever say, the guy that was talking about was like, oh, well, I think the kids should know how great America is and everything like that. This shit is not great. You know what I'm saying? Do they spend time talking about how ignorance enslaved an entire race for hundreds of years? You know what I'm saying? Do they even talk about that? Hell no. You know what I mean? They don't spend no time talking about that. I mean, come on, you know what I'm saying? Like, do they say like, oh, you shouldn't be an ignorant jackass because look what it did to an entire race of people over hundreds of years, you know what I mean? Let's all learn to love and accept one another, you know? No, it doesn't say that, you know, whatsoever. Let's not even talk about that because then we'll start loving each other and then what the hell? All hell would break loose if that happened, shit, you know? So, you see like, you've got these select few people that are deciding what our children should learn about. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a great fucking idea. Let's have a bunch of retards decide what our kids learn day in and day out. You know, that sounds great to me. Yeah, let's sign them up. Shit, why not? You know what I mean? Sounds like a great idea. I don't know how that could fail. You know what I'm saying? So another thing is that if you saw in the capital of Montana, Helena, whatever the hell it's called, the school board there is trying to pass a law to they're going to start teaching children about sex education at the age of 5 and stuff like that. And all these dumbasses was up in arms like, this is some bullshit. Like people on Fox News, like, do you want your kids learning about sexual positions at the age of 5? And it's like, okay, well, how about this? I'd rather have my children knowing about sexual positions and the anatomy of the human body and where we all came from, why we even exist, rather than teaching them how to shoot people and kill people. Every damn commercial got guns in it. Every movie got guns in it and stuff like that. And, you know, they're all up in arms about this, but the government can come in and the army can come in and try and sell these kids like all kinds of bullshit, you know what I'm saying? Like, sign up for the army. We're all going to be free and you can serve your country and all this other silly jive and shit, okay? And then so that's perfectly okay, but we don't want our kids to know about how we got here or anything like that. It's a little bit hypocritical and ignorant, if you ask me. And then so you have these kids, you know, that don't want to question their existence, aren't allowed to question their existence or why we're even here. We're not supposed to tell them till we're 18. Just like Santa Claus, we'll just leave it go for a while, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, it's just easier that way, you know? It's so much easier not to tell them anything, you know? So another problem you have is like these parents and everybody talking about like, why are our children so violent? I don't understand why our kids are so violent all the time, you know what I'm saying? They never stop to look at, you know, what's causing this violence and everything like that. I don't know about you. Have any of y'all been into a toy store in like in the last 50 years or so? Because if you go to a toy store, ain't nothing but guns for sale in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing but guns. Like, they got all kinds of different guns. They be like free with your purchase and stuff like that, like hot pink, Hannah Montana guns and stuff. Like, oh, come on here, take a gun, please. Like, they just be giving these motherfuckers away. Like, come on, shit. You know what I'm saying? Where do kids get the idea that killing people is wrong? Definitely not those toy stores that are just giving guns away with the purchase, you know what I'm saying? It's got to be those damn video games, you know, something like that. That's what it is, you know? So you got all these kids that just be having all these guns, playing guns out in the street and everything like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is an acceptable form of behavior in this country, you know what I'm saying? And so you got these kids. I used to work with kids myself, you know what I'm saying? And I got fed up with trying to tell these kids, you know, that we can't solve our differences through violence, you know what I'm saying? But it's incredibly difficult. You have to understand how difficult it is to sell that to a child. When I was working with 7 and 8 year old kids, so you think about it, these kids are 7 and 8 years old, all right? So they have been born into war. They've been, their country has been at war their entire existence. And we don't think that that has anything to do with why they think violence is an acceptable form of behavior, you know, or acceptable reaction to differences in situations like that. They don't, no, that ain't it. No, can't be, it can't be us. You know, we're not going to take personal responsibility for our own actions. You know, why would we? Shit. You know what I'm saying? So, in closing, you know, it's basically like you get out of a kid what you put into a kid. If you put a bunch of hate, violence, ignorance, stuff like that into a child, that's what you're going to get out of this child. And so don't sit back and say like, oh, I'm so surprised we got a bunch of goofball demon children running around, you know, not knowing what the hell's going on, just wanting to fight everybody all the damn time. Like, you can't sit there and tell kids don't use violence as a form of retaliation when their government does it day in, day out for hundreds of years. Every 10 years we're in a major war, you know what I'm saying? Like, get the hell out of here, man. We need to grow up. We need to wake up. This is not acceptable. Social commentary.
Social commentary. Agreed, sir.
I gotta get some stuff off my chest from time to time. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate you getting it off the chest, man. I wish more people would too.
Exactly, man. We all need to wake up. It's not just 1 or 2 people. We can't just say, oh, it's a select few of people. It's a big population that thinks that this is acceptable behavior. You know, we need to all wake up and hold other people accountable for their actions.
Agreed. We're doing what we can right here on Zeitgeist Live.